Path of Night is an actual play Vampire the Masquerade podcast set in the classic world of darkness. We're all friends, we're here to have fun, but our story can include graphic violence, drug use, sexual content, and other mature themes. We've talked at our table about safety, comfort, and consent both as players and storytellers. We know what to expect, we're all excited to be here, and we want you to feel the same, so listener discretion is advised. Now, let's walk the Path of Night.
Last time on Path of Night, Zophiel's deception led Neil and Miles to bargain separately for the Ur Codex. Johnny staked Neil once Zophiel had accepted Neil's offer of his own body as a vessel, trapping the demon within the Malkavian. However, Miles agreed to let the demon have a minority share in his decisions until the next full moon. The Coterie gave the Ur Codex to Arabella in exchange for her faking her final death. After arriving home to New Haven, Miles awoke to find his trusted retainer, Marcos, dead. Neil, you find yourself starting to stir. Immediately you can sense that you're in an unfamiliar place. You can smell the scent of oil and Morley's.
The room you're in is a very simple, cold, concrete box. It has this feeling of being a utility room, and it feels damp, kind of like you'd expect out of something far underneath the ground. You do hear the sounds of some gentle music playing with just a subtle skip to it. Some jazz playing on vinyl. As you become more aware of his surroundings, you see that Johnny is finishing having put a ring of salt around you and has kind of rolled up his sleeves and looks a little bit concerned and worried. He's got a half-burned cigarette hanging out of his lip, removes it and kind of licks his lips, and then slowly reaches across the ring of salt that he's poured, grips the stake that's been planted into your chest, and with a quick tug yanks it out. You with me?
That hurts real bad. Neil sort of sits up, rubbing his chest, spending some blood to heal the wounds Johnny did yesterday. It worked, right? I don't feel him inside my head, so I think it worked.
If you're you, break the circle.
Oh. Okay, so in the interest of honesty, he says, like, reaching out and sweeping some of the salt away.
Johnny looks really concerned for a second.
So, how much will did you apply when creating this circle?
What?
When you ward against intrusion or sort of extrusion, as the case may be. What? It doesn't matter, Johnny. I'm me. It's fine. Good job. Good thoughts. It's good instinct.
All right.
Where are we?
Oh, this is my haven.
This is your haven? Where's all your stuff?
What are you talking about? My records are right there. He points over to a couple milk crates of records sitting next to a small little end table where there's a record player. On the opposite side, you can see there's a cot and a foot locker and right at the foot of it.
Oh, right. Cool. So we're back in New Haven. Yeah, I mean, I heard you guys talking yesterday, so just good choices all around.
This is a set of old bunkers from back in the Cold War era.
Oh yeah, City Underground is filled with them.
Yeah, the Sherwood Cafe is up top.
Oh, I know what that is. Okay. I feel like we should probably talk about everything that just went down up in Boston and Salem.
Yeah?
I mean, not just you and me, like everybody. There was a lot of...
How much of the conversation did you catch on the way back home?
Oh, I heard all of it.
All right.
I'm pissed at Miles, and I also can't be pissed at Miles because it's literally a demon.
Johnny walks over and sits down on his cot, puts out the remaining butt of his Morley into a little ashtray that's sitting on top of the footlocker. You know, he pulls a beeper off the footlocker that was sitting next to the ashtray. Miles hasn't contacted me yet.
What time is it?
Late enough that it's worrying.
Yeah, because you guys talked about meeting up. I heard that much from the van.
Usually he's already knocking this thing off before I actually wake up.
Did you drop him off at his place? No, you didn't. He just took his own... Huh. Should we go check it out? Or do we know? I know we were all supposed to meet up at his place anyways to talk.
We should. By the way...
Yeah.
He gets up, walks over, and pulls his jacket off the back of the door, reaches through and pulls out a few pages. These were still in my jacket. They never made it to our mutual friend.
Those pages of the Codex?
He kind of gives us a slight nod, like he doesn't want to actually say yes.
Okay, so we'll have to get those into Wynn's hands.
Well, I want them out of mine. He shoves them into your chest.
Oh, ow, okay. Great, sure, I will. And he sort of rolls them up and like slides them into his fanny pack.
Do you want a new shirt?
Yeah, that's probably smart.
He goes rifling through his footlocker and finds some Johnny clothes that look like they might fit you.
It looks like a child.
You actually find that Johnny's shirts are tight enough that, while a little loose on you, it's actually not too bad.
Oh, man. Yeah.
You don't quite have like the pecs and like everything going on like Johnny does.
This is a cool shirt for somebody who could fill it out.
Yeah.
I think we should probably go over to the park, see if we can grab Wynn, collect the group, and see why Miles hasn't contacted us.
Yeah, I mean, things have been so hectic lately, and there's a demon in his brain.
What?
Yeah, when he made that deal okay, so the demon was changing things.
No. You made a deal, and you tricked it.
Yes, I did. I 100% did.
And now it's back in its circle, right?
I didn't get to thank you for doing that. It's supposed to be based on the deal that I made. However, Miles indicated he also made a deal because he was seeing things that were different. If I heard things right, and to be fair, I had a demon in my brain and a stake in my chest, so I might have heard it wrong.
But, wait, so it was doing deals with both of you?
Yeah.
That's not fair.
No, I know it's not fair. It's a demon. That's what they do. Look, Miles made some sort of... I want to talk to him about that because I am very concerned, but it is in his brain, for the next month or something like that? A couple of weeks? Which, I made a deal for 6 hours. Now, he had the best of intentions from what he had said. He thought Britta was making a deal, so he did it to preempt a deal.
All right.
I don't know. We got to talk to Miles.
You're making me nervous. Stop.
Welcome to my world.
Johnny pulls out the peck of Morley's and puts a new one in his mouth and offers Neil one.
Oh, no thanks.
Looking kind of skeptical that someone would turn a cigarette down at a moment like this, he returns them to his pocket and lights up his. All right. Let's go get in the truck. We'll get over and get Wynn.
Let's just get Wynn so we can talk all this out.
All right, so the two of you head off. Wynn, the next night comes. When you awaken, you can kind of almost feel the cool touch of a little boy's hand holding onto yours, which for you comes as a sensation of relief after all the hardship of last night. And sitting beside you is Joey, who has this look of concern. You kind of just with the look in the little boy's big old eyes, you get the impression that he had been waiting for you, just as you were waiting to check in on him.
Hey, buddy.
Hey.
How have you been?
I'm okay.
You don't seem like you're okay. Talk to me. What's going on?
Everything feels a little weird lately.
Yeah?
There's a storm coming.
Yeah, buddy, there is. You can feel that?
I can. I can feel the breeze of it already, and some of the others that I've met are saying that it's the end of all of us. And I'm a little scared, and I thought you would know for sure. Am I going to be okay?
I don't know, buddy. There is a storm coming, and some bad things are probably going to happen. But I'm going to do my best to protect you from it, okay?
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
You're in a scary place right now.
I am. This place, I found out that all of the stuff that's here is made out of people.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
And the people don't stop being people. They just...
Joey, look at me, buddy.
Yeah.
I'm learning how to make sure that doesn't happen to you.
Okay.
All right? And I'm going to do my best to protect you from it, okay?
Okay. I saw Mr. Perfect. And he told me that if I was bad, that he would make me an ashtray or a cigarette and he would smoke me. Can he do that?
Mr. Perfect can go pound salt up his ass.
He kind of makes like a weird face when you swear like that, but is kind of cool with it too.
I'm going to figure out how to protect you from Mr. Perfect, okay? But listen to me.
Yeah?
You're not a bad boy, right?
I think sometimes I have bad thoughts.
But do you act on them?
I don't know. I think that's me too. And he tells me that everyone's going to die. And that you all hate me.
No, I don't hate you, buddy. There's nothing you could do that would make me hate you.
Even if I mess up?
Joey, you could... I don't know. I can't think of something bad enough for you to do to make me hate you.
Okay.
All right? So even if you fuck up and you fuck up hard...
He makes like another face when you swear a whole bunch, but again, he's still kind of cool with it.
I'm still here for you. And I'm going to do my best to be here for you from now on.
You can kind of feel his cold hand squeeze your hand.
She squeezes back.
My mom saw me. And you hear the engine of a truck starting to pull up. Yeah, she can see me now.
What does she think about that?
She says I'm not a monster. And she said that there are monsters. And that she knows the difference.
Okay. Your mom and I are going to do our best to protect you, okay?
Okay.
I gotta go do something real quick, okay, buddy? But I am coming back. It's not going to be a long time like it was.
I'll protect the fort. He
Attaboy.
promises.
Off the distance, you hear the truck door slam.
Wynn!
Coming! All right. Hold down the fort, buddy. I'll be back soon.
Okay.
I want to hear what you've been up to, too.
Oh, he kind of makes a little nervous, like, oh, okay.
I feel like there's a good story behind that.
Yeah.
All right. Later, buddy.
Later.
Wynn walks outside, kind of waves, gives a quick wave to Johnny and Neil. You look a lot better standing up, she says to Neil.
Yeah, I feel a lot better when it's just me in here.
I can imagine.
But, there's a bunch of stuff we got to talk about, so...
I'm just glad to see that you're still with us. You haven't heard from Miles or anything, have you?
Ooh, good question.
Wynn kind of pats her pockets, pulling out her phone and checks to see if there's any messages.
You do not see any messages.
No, nothing.
Yeah, he hasn't contacted me either, which is a little bit weird for the guy.
Oh yeah, especially since he's sheriff and you're, his only bully boy.
Can you call him or Britta or something?
Yeah, let me give him a call.
While she's pulling her phone out, Neil gets out and gets into the back bench seat of the truck, giving up shotgun to Wynn, and buckles himself in.
Are you okay back there?
Yeah, I can fit.
Are you sure?
Yeah, there's a seat and it's a little bucket seat. We're good. It's fine.
Oh, okay.
Take shotgun. It's good. You're good.
Thanks, buddy. Wynn pulls out her phone, dials Miles' number.
It rings for a little while, way longer than you'd expect for Miles's phone. And then the call gets picked up, and you hear, "Hello?
Britta?
Yeah.
Britta, are you with Miles? Why are you answering his phone?
It's,
Is he all right?
for now,
Can you do better than that?
I think you guys are... He's gonna want to talk to you himself, I think. Is that okay, Miles, if they come over?
Miles just nods his head.
All right.
Britta, what's going on?
There's gonna be some stuff we have to...
All right, well, we're on our way. Don't.
Please come, okay?
Yeah, we're on our way, sweetheart.
All right. See you soon.
Bye.
Britta, Miles, you can hear the sounds of a vehicle pulling up. It's got the heavy, noisy engine that causes you to immediately recognize Johnny and crew's approach.
Hey, I'll get the door, okay?
That sounds good. I'm going to go lock our guests into the guest room. They'll fall asleep soon enough anyways.
Britta, you approach the front door and already can kind of hear the footfalls of your comrades. When you open the door, you see all three members of the Coterie, even and Neil in a cleaned up shirt. Everyone looks okay, but concerned.
Wynn looks at Britta. Her eyes are wide, and she looks worried. Britta, what's going on? And she just kind of pushes her way inside.
Yeah, you're answering doors now? Where's Marcos?
When you look to Britta, you can see she's dressed nicely, but in the way where it's a very quick, nice look. She threw on a dress, a bright color of lipstick, some mascara, like she had to go do something quickly. There's not that level of care and detail put into it. And she steps back, she lets you all into the house, and you ask about Marcos. And she looks down. She looks down for a few seconds before she looks back at you.
That bad, huh?
Well, just be ready, okay, guys? 'Cause this...
I'm sorry, ready for what?
Johnny, Marcos is gone.
Can you do better than gone?
No, I can't, because
How?
he's dead.
Where's Miles?
Okay. Things are a little more complicated than... Come with me, please. She'll lead you to where Miles said he was going.
Very nervously, like he's entering into the cave of a bear, Johnny kind of follows behind at a pace, looking up at the upper floors that look down on the foyer of the interior of Miles's haven.
Miles is coming back downstairs. He has shed his blood-soaked shirt, and he's now essentially wearing a smoking jacket. Whatever happened to be convenient, he just didn't feel like dealing with it anymore. He had not time to put his hair together. He is without his glasses currently. He moves down the stairs. He sees you all, he looks at you all, and then he moves to a hallway and stands there in the shadows and looks for about a minute or so, and then he comes back.
Britta will, seeing that reaction, she'll hold up her hand to indicate not to follow her. She'll go to the bathroom. She'll get the book and the note. She'll pass it first to Wynn.
Wynn kind of cautiously almost opens the note and looks at it. That son of a bitch. That son of a...
Hey, please. Okay. I know you're not... It's just...
She looks at the note again. Does this look... Whose handwriting does this look like?
It looks like handwriting.
Okay. She passes the note to Johnny, who's standing next to her.
Johnny takes it from Wynn, glances down at it, doesn't really seem to notice or care about anything about it, does make a grimace, and just passes it right on to Neil.
Neil takes the note, looks down, reads it, looks at the book, and gives a sigh. I'm not good at this kind of thing. Britta, what does he need right now?
Well, there's more. So she holds out her hand and takes the book, and she goes and returns it to its place in the bathroom, again indicating not to follow her. Every time that she exits the bathroom, there's a new weight to her. She comes back to you all, and she says, "Okay,
I've got it from here."
you've got it? All right."
So he walks back over. Marcos was tortured and murdered, and then embraced.
Reese embraced him?
No, I embraced him.
Neil gets a panicked look on his face, just running through all the ramifications of that.
Johnny reaches out and puts a hand on your shoulder and gives you kind of like a smile and a nod. Like, I get it.
Wynn is kind of overcome for the moment by the conversation she just had with Joey and kind of realizes that, yeah, this was a stupid thing to do, but there's nothing she wouldn't do to protect someone she loved.
Did it take?
Unsure. I have some guests that have hopefully drunken themselves into inebriation, but I can deal with any fallout later in case I have to provide blood to Marcos. So I don't know what he's going to possibly develop as a problem. So for now, he can only feed on my blood. And also, I'd rather him not kill somebody. Regardless, this has been a series of violations, and I currently have a demon trying to sell me on bringing him back.
You didn't take it, did you?
I said currently trying to sell me.
I know.
Miles.
I'm going to be very precise right now, so I need you to stick with me.
Okay.
Because I am on a razor's edge, and I'd rather not kill someone.
Understood. Okay.
So,
Just
Can you
worried about you.
please tell us the details of the deal that you made?
T has a 49% share in everything I do right now, which means he gets to call a vote. He doesn't get to determine what I do, and he also cannot torture or torment me for the next 30 days.
What happens at the end of 30 days?
He returns to his circle or his home plane, which worked out because his circle was broken when you were staked. Arabella is going to fix it. I made another deal.
But you made the first deal with the demon because you thought...
You are going to broker a deal. And seemingly I could hear different things than what you guys could hear.
So you made it to protect me.
Yes. I thought it was the right thing to do at the time.
I'm sorry. I
can deal with the demon. It's unfortunate that these other circumstances have come up. It is becoming trying.
Miles, I've seen this scenario before. I've been this scenario before. With someone being embraced and not having permission to do it from the prince. And you saved me then and you saved me now. And I just, I don't want it to go back on you.
I'll figure it out. I always do.
It's okay to not have the answers right now, Miles.
Oh, I don't have the answers right now.
Okay.
I sometimes have the answers, but I can generally figure it out as we go along. My strengths have been adaptability. Take a situation and live in it.
But we know that Reese knows what he did, and if Marcos...
I need you to make sure that Reese is the one that did this.
What?
that
It is very easy to make me a loaded gun, and I'm not smart enough to know otherwise. So I need to make sure Reese is the one to do this.
Do what?
Murdered and tortured Marcos.
He brings up a really good point. We're not short on enemies right now. And turning the most capable Ventru in the city against the leader of the Gemini League is actually a really good move.
I can look if you want, Miles.
At some point.
But
Today is not the day. Tomorrow,
Well,
hopefully.
But,
Sorry.
not what I was... If it is Reese, if it's completely definitely Reese, whether or not it's Reese acting against you or whether it's somebody trying to play you, the actions that you take next are... The fallout is kind of the same. We're behind you, but... I just worry about shooting from the hip right now.
I think that's why we're figuring out where our target is first.
Neil, is there anything you can do to know more
Yes.
about this?
I'm not going to go in there without your permission, Miles, but I can go take a look.
Just be careful. He might... And he just leaves it at that.
Okay, sure.
Neil, do you want some backup?
If Miles is okay with it.
That's fine.
Okay.
Wynn stands behind Neil and waits for his move.
Neil sort of steps backwards out of the circle of the coterie, and Britta's at the bathroom that you just came out of.
Yeah.
Okay. And he starts to walk down the hallway.
I go stand near the sliding doors, just kind of looking out on the lawn.
Britta just lingers within sight of Miles. Not close, but just nearby.
Johnny slowly approaches, stands off on the side of his shoulder. I appreciate the caution and restraint you're showing, but when you're ready to ride and rain hell down on these bastards, I'm fucking ready.
It is so easy for some of them to do such stupid things. They're going to regret it. Not for long, but they will.
Wynn follows Neil.
Neil slowly and almost like he's afraid, not of what's inside the bathroom, but just the general atmosphere and everything going on, and goes to open the door to the bathroom that Miles said he could enter and Britta said was the right place. Just to take a look. A lot of it's cleaned up now, but Marcos is there, and the book is there, and is the knife still in the bathroom?
Yes.
And he looks around. These definitely look like suicide wounds, right? Like he slit his wrists.
Yes, it looks like someone killed themselves.
I mean, so the way I would do this, Neil says, and there's like a weird sort of tone in his voice, like a chill goes up his spine when he says it, is I would just get inside Marcos's head and have him kill himself right before Miles woke up. Nothing violated, no domains, no issues. He just takes his own life.
That's kind of what I was thinking, too.
Ain't no rule against doing that against a ghoul. It's impolite, but I just... God. And he takes a look around, trying to take in the patterns of what happened here.
Neil zones out, and it seems like he's probably going to be at this for a while. Miles sort of takes a seat, and whatever's going through his head is going through his mind quickly. And Johnny steps outside for a cigarette.
Britta takes a second, sending a nod to Miles, and follows Johnny outside. She is doing that same behavior of running her fingertips along the glove on her palm. She's approaching Johnny slowly, not really looking at him.
You alright in there, kid?
Johnny, with everything that's happened, this feels so much like me. But everything that happened in Salem and what Z said, it's about me. And she lifts her hand, and still not really looking at Johnny, she takes off her glove, and she's shaking. Her hand is shaking, and she's not really successful at first, like unballing her hand from the fists. And she holds her hand out to Johnny and forces her fingers to straighten to show that there is a black crescent moon on her palm.
Johnny looks over.
Johnny stares blank, and for a moment, Johnny, you recall the sounds of a shovel digging a hole in the ground, and a big, meaty hand gripping you by the neck and dragging you as the blood of a bruja flows through your veins and starts to change you, damning you. And this figure tosses you casually down into this pit where other bodies are being collected. And you remember looking up as the embrace just started to take you and seeing that same cold black crescent moon right in his palm and for a moment your blood boils.
Johnny's eyes suddenly widen and focus. They snap up to you, and I should probably make a frenzy check, right?
You're rolling at a difficulty 10.
How about a difficulty 9, thanks to Neil's passion?
Sounds good to me.
He will absolutely spend a point of willpower and have 2 successes.
Johnny maintains control, but as the rest of this conversation, his fangs are out.
As soon as his fangs show, Britta actually looks like she's just readying to let Johnny attack her. She's shaking and she's still, and she looks frozen.
The balcony that the two of them are standing on is corralled by a small stone railing, and you hear the edge of it crack a little bit under one of his hands. And with shocking speed, he grabs your hand and then very slowly turns it so that the moon is facing down and puts your hand onto the railing as well. He lets go and calmly brings his hand back so that you're both just leaning and looking out into the night. Did you keep doing that to yourself?
Doing what?
The moon.
When I went with Wynn, when she saw the Giovanni, I don't know what he did. It just, one of the Giovanni there, he did something, and it must have been there all along. I don't know why, Johnny. I'm sorry.
You don't have to be sorry for anything, kid. That symbol, it's got a history with me. One of the worst nights of my life. I think you know what it's like to have a night like that.
I didn't mean to...
Of course you didn't. Hey, I'm sorry if I scared you. My beast doesn't let me be calm like I used to. When I just drove trucks for a living, I could handle myself. You know, I was a big guy. I could get into fights, but I never lost control. Ever since that bastard with the moon on his hand found me, I don't know what. It's that thing inside, right? It rattles the cage. It makes me want to kill something. And tonight we're all on edge.
I just needed to show you. I wanted to show you ever since the demon mentioned it, because you guys, I've been trying to remember everything, and I don't know what I am. I don't know if I'm like the people that did that to you, and I don't want to be like them, and
Hey, we were all a lot different before we were made like this. The thing inside of us is not our friend. It never is going to be our friend. And we need to remind ourselves that all this shit goes back to that. So whatever that symbol on your hand means, wherever it came from, that's not you. It's not the man I was before this. It's not Miles. It's not Marcos. It's not Neil. It's not Wynn.
Thank you. Thank you, Johnny. Thank you.
Now you need to keep it together, because Miles in there needs someone like you to help guide him through this with grace. Because I'm only going to fuck it up.
You do better than you think, Johnny.
So do you.
We pick up with Neil alone in the bathroom with a cadaver, and that's just sort of sitting, laying in the tub, bled out, and Wynn outside the door kind of keeping watch as Neil conducts his investigation. Neil, walk me through the process. Tell me about how you start, what actions you take in order to pursue knowledge.
The first thing that Neil does is he looks at Wynn outside the door and says, "Hey, I need a minute here. He's probably not going to get up right now. I'll probably be okay, but if he does, you'll hear me yell, right?" And he goes to put a hand on the door and just close the door to the bathroom. So he's completely alone in here.
Wynn kind of gives a nod.
It'll just be a minute, and you'll hear me yelling if I need.
I got you, man.
Thanks, Wynn. And he looks, and for a while, all he does is just look at the corpse in the bathtub. Looks at the obvious wounds on its wrists. Realizes for a second that he thinks of the corpse as an it rather than Marcos for just a second. So that catches him off guard, and he sort of ponders the ramification of that line of thought. And realizes that Miles wants some answers. He wants some knowledge. Looks at the notebook or the note that was left in the handwriting, and just sort of gets a quick once-over. Sees the red ring, like in the tub where the water had drained. Gives a sigh, and then looks maybe strangely over at the toilet. Has a lot of thoughts of, people don't really use this bathroom. Bathrooms in a haven, particularly Miles's house, are mostly for show, except for guests. Probably flashes back to a time when, he and Miles got into, a weird debate about toilet seat etiquette that has not applied to either of them in decades. And then goes over and looks directly into the water in the toilet. Gives a sigh, and then sort of whispers to spirits that not even he can see. Just, show me what happened here. I need to see it.
Go ahead and give me a roll for path activation.
3 successes.
With 3 successes, the water kind of not ripples. Just that little bit of motion that usually exists kind of stops, and it becomes as though you're looking at this completely flat, smooth surface, and the water's reflection begins to show things that are not currently happening, images of the past. What you see is Marcos zipping up his fly and pulling out his phone with this panicked expression. And he kind of leans against the wall, and he's kind of talking for a bit. He then goes to wash his hands and kind of does this thing where he slaps the sides of his face, trying to kind of keep things together. He seems to be stressed about the phone call, not frightened. It's not like he received a threat or anything like that. But as he finishes washing his hands, washes his face, wipes off, kind of stares in the mirror for a little while, and then something settles over him that is unseen. And rather abruptly, he kind of stands straight. His body language completely changes. Whoever it is that is now in control steps out of the bedroom and comes back sometime later with the items needed in order to complete or create the scene that you are now looking at in real time. It starts to kind of become clear that while he's laying in the tub, slowly bleeding out, there's this smile on his face, like he's experiencing an oddity, as if death was something that existed to amuse him, a passing interest. And he talks to no one in the room, having kind of this monologue to an empty bathroom. And right before he dies, you can see whoever was in control returns Marcus his body, and it's Marcus's eyes going wide with the realization of where he is and what he's doing. And with this terrified look, he passes on, hopeless and afraid.
Watching all of that play out, sort of horrified by the entire scene, for the sake of knowledge and for the sake of his friend, Neil, looking at the note that was presumably written when he was not in control of himself, watching all the moments, the way he was acting when he was not in his control of himself, Neil opens his eyes further and tries to see the invisible hand puppeting this entire sort of stage play in front of him. So I'm going to try and use Eyes of Chaos just to kind of get an idea of who's doing this, just to be sure for Miles' sake.
Difficulty.
Okay.
It is Marcos, not Marcus.
I thought I just said Marcos.
You said Marcus.
6 successes.
With 6 successes, it is the red of the tub that kind of stands out the most. You kind of like frantically move the body and to kind of get an understanding of this tub and the pool of blood that was in it, and some of it's still kind of reddening of the tub. When you move Marcos's body, you see a cross and a field of red, and you think of the Rosy Cross. And when thinking of the Rosy Cross, what comes to mind is the Hermetic approach. You know, as above, so below. Miracles were worked in order to see this man die.
Crouched down, already having touched the body, Neil considers touching more, opening his senses more, looking for more information, and then decides, maybe wisely, maybe just out of fear, not to try and glean the final impressions of death from Marcos's corpse. And then he looks at him for a while and is just quiet until he finally says, Marcos, I know you had a family, and I know how much you meant to Miles. He was willing to break the laws of the domain, to throw away the laws of the Camarilla, just for a chance that you might come back. But if you care about him, if you love him the way that I do, I need you to stay dead. Please stay dead. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But you can't come back. And I need to do what I have to do to protect Miles, because he protects us. And somebody has to watch out for him. And Neil will move his hand sort of inside Marcos's shirt, like between the buttons of the button down, and put a hand directly over his heart. And then with one last sigh, like trying to steel himself to do it, will summon an effort of will and transform the vitae that Miles gave him, the last bit of blood in his body that might animate him and give him the gift of unlife, to water, so that he never gets up.
You don't see very much of an effect. His body remains lifeless. But you know that the magic was successfully enacted.
He just sits there for a while with a hand on his chest. Gives another little shaking sigh, and then puts his hand on the edge of the tub to like help himself stand up. Goes and washes his hands in the sink, sort of in an unconscious parallel to the way he had just seen Marcos washing his hands. Dries them off on his pants, and then opens the door to see Wynn.
Wynn is just standing against the door frame, arms crossed, kind of head low. just kind of contemplating things. She occasionally lifts her head and looks around, looking for things that may or may not come. It sometimes takes a while for wraiths to appear.
Neil looks not okay when he opens the door. Like he's trying to shake off the ghost of whatever he saw in there. Hey, Wynn.
Hey.
So, yeah, I mean, first hunches were right. It was definitely, probably, race.
Wynn gives a nod. Like she's not surprised. Just, she doesn't even really have the energy to be angry at him at this point. She's spent so much time angry at Reese.
I think, I mean, I don't know for a fact, but I watched it. I watched it all play out in real
How?
time. Miles drained the tub, but nobody flushed the toilet.
And you can see in the water?
There are spirits of water that hold those kind of memories. So, I watched all of it. I watched him die. I think Reese possessed him, made him do those things, and then left him to die right at the end. I couldn't hear what he was saying, but I think they were right. I think it was definitely Reese, which makes sense based on the other context clues, but I don't really want to be in this bathroom anymore. Can we?
Nope, let's go.
Out in the main area, Johnny has convinced Miles to maybe come out in the balcony and share a cigarette with him and Britta. You want to tell me where your head's at?
Figuring out the next steps, mostly. One way or another. There will be a price that needs to be paid.
Well, if I can make a single recommendation.
I'm listening.
You are technically sheriff, and there are a couple other bully boys in the city, a few people who I might actually trust to come at least help clean up around here. I don't think that you need to necessarily be the one getting things patched up. I can help oversee that.
If he doesn't come back, we need to do it in such a way that his family is left without questions.
I understand. That's something me and the bully boys can handle.
Possibly something to put them at ease, but death is never, especially in its final form, easy to take.
I hate to say it, this won't be the first time I've disposed of a ghoul that hasn't made it all the way.
Alright.
Are we in Venture territory right now?
We're in my domain, correct?
Well, we might be able to do something politically. I know that probably tastes bad right now, but it's one of the forms of power you could have as sheriff, right? I mean, I know that Reese is powerful too, but if he invaded...
Well, hold on now. We don't necessarily know for certain that that's who made this attack. I think it's likely, but I want to keep you on your toes before we start getting too obsessed with revenge.
That's true.
What's the most important thing for you to take care of right now, Miles?
The next step. Whatever happens by the end of this tonight. And from there, we'll see how things play out. I have some thoughts, but we need to find out exactly who did this and possibly why.
So does that mean that we're heading to court?
Not tonight.
All right. Miles, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go call some people, and I'm going to get this process started. I hope that we don't have to deal with Marcos, but I'm going to be ready to do what we need to do if he doesn't get back up.
Right.
Stay here with Britta. I want you to think about what our next steps are. His eyes flash over to Britta. You good to be out here with him?
Yeah.
He reaches out and kind of puts a hand on both of your shoulders and gives you guys a kind of a tight squeeze on the shoulders. a nod, and then walks in to go presumably call some of the other bully boys of the city to start getting arrangements made.
He's not waking up. I felt it. He has passed on, Miles. And what a terrible fate awaits the man who would abandon his children for immortality. What suffering awaits him in the realms beyond.
Thank you, Z.
Sorry, what?
I'm sorry, the demon was talking to me again.
Has he been...
Off and on, yes.
What's he saying to you?
Look at the fear in her eyes.
He's telling me that Marcos has passed from this world and that his soul will be in some sort of hell or torment.
There are not words for what he will suffer, so I will not waste my time trying to describe it.
Marcos was good. Alright, I don't know anything about, I guess, what we're supposed to believe about the afterlife for us, but I don't think you have to be afraid for him.
I don't know. I don't usually concern myself with that kind of thought. It doesn't really lead anywhere. He kind of puts the cigarette out on the banister, moves to go inside. Let's see if they found anything yet. The demon may be telling the truth, it may not. I expected this kind of deal when I took it.
Okay. Just, check in with us? Miles, I
understand the hesitation, but it is not usually the way I operate to check in on all my actions before I perform them.
That's not it, Miles.
This is very true.
It's because you did this to help me, and I don't want you hurt because of me. I don't want Z to do anything to you because of me, because you stepped in to try to make sure it didn't happen to me. So that's why I'm asking you to check in, not because I think that you're gonna do anything weird.
I appreciate it, but it was also my choice. And I get that part of that choice was influenced upon you, but it was my choice. And I don't for a second regret it. And that's the thing. We have to make these choices.
Britta looks down and she's like nodding like slowly, deeply. It clearly affects her quite a bit to hear that. And she says quietly, just, thank you, Miles. Yeah.
There was my own hubris in this to come to play, but nothing I didn't expect.
All right. Let's go check in.
Yes. Let's see if Neil's found anything else, and then I don't know.
Yeah.
I need to clear... I feel like I should make clear Marcos' story, if this is the end of it.
Whatever helps.
And then we need to figure out what's next, but...
We can take it step by step, and Johnny knows what he's doing. He really can help.
Right. There's kind of a hand on the doorway, and it's kind of crushing the wood, but not in the same way that Johnny's does. Not nearly in the same capacity. But it's like, there will be other prices that need to be paid.
Britta gently reaches out and places a hand on Miles's shoulder.
He nods and moves in.
She follows.
Miles seems a bit lost in thought for a moment.
Miles, how do you intend to compete against hermetic thaumaturgy?
I'm going to answer this one in my brain instead of out loud. Mostly because I've noticed it started freaking people out. I haven't figured that out yet. I might not go direct. I can't imagine that the Tremere, never mind Reese, hasn't made quite a few enemies by being the unapologetic dick that he is.
Reese is powerful within the limited scope of his world. He will defeat you every time. Because while you experiment with indirect means of striking at your enemies, He has mastered it. And every time you maneuver, you will lose someone. And in this game of attrition, Reese will break you. He is already halfway there. I can feel the way you mourn your pawn. You will lose.
So what are you trying to offer me?
I'm simply going to make observations until you ask. And I will do what none of your Coterie mates are willing to do, and be honest about what it is that you can expect. They are young and hopeful. They do not understand that they are already dead, and that they have already lost so much. So they will say kind words. They will hold your hand. They will hug you. They will tell you that he has gone on to a better place, and that you will go on to a better place when you meet final death. But you will not. They will encourage you to play this game, to be swept up in the illusion of civility, when at the end of all kindred conflicts, the resolution comes only from death. Avoid death all you will, but Reese will not. He will kill those you love, and you know it.
I hear you. Though I do feel like there's quite a bit of cynicism in there, but I imagine that comes from living forever.
There are those who believe they will live forever, and there are those who do so. That cynicism you feel, what you hear, that is the difference between the two.
I'll take your words under advisement for now.
I look forward to the next show.
Miles then shakes his head with a rueful kind of smile thing and moves towards the couch, waiting for Neil to finish whatever he's doing in the bathroom.
Neil and Wynn come back from the bathroom towards the main room. Neil sort of looks around and gives a tired nod to Miles. So, as always, I need to sort of put the disclaimer that there are no certainties in the world, but Marcos was possessed, and the puppet master that did it left the telltale signs of someone versed in hermetic thaumaturgy, so that, I mean, if it looks like a Tremere and smells like a Tremere, that's,
But you don't have a definite.
as definite as I can be that it was
Give me a
Reese.
percentage.
90 to 95.
That's actually much higher than I thought.
Well,
Are you saying 90-95 that it's Tremere or that it's Reese?
that it is a Tremere, but context clues, say it was Reese. The reason I always say there's not certainty in the world is because I'm not arrogant enough to think that I can't be wrong about things, but all signs point to Reese, at least the way I see them. I watched it play out, and I think it was Reese.
The fact that we haven't really pissed off a hermetic user enough to do this kind of deal does, other than him.
The only ones we dealt with. Now, that doesn't mean it was Reese. It might have been a Reese Catspaw. He's sort of in charge of the Tremere in the area, but it seemed... It was like clearly dancing around, like describing how he died to Miles, but...
He'll just nod basically to allow him to move past it.
There seemed to be a sense of personal satisfaction to it. Like death was an amusing oddity that the person doing it doesn't usually get to experience firsthand. If that makes sense.
Miles' face kind of flattens at that and becomes way more cold.
Yeah. Just trying to be. I know this puts us in a really tenuous position, but...
In regards to what?
It's not like we can go kill Reese. So I just...
Not at the moment, no. Also, we can't really do much planning if you can float around my haven at will.
What do you mean? I mean, kill him?
I assume that's kind of what was in your brain.
He will pay.
Here's... Are you looking for sympathy or opinions right now?
I don't know.
Okay. I totally get that.
We can discuss some of that later.
Sure.
I just needed information. We're not doing anything in regards to most of that tonight for various reasons. Never mind the fact that we have just had a long journey to Boston, and we're not in the position to do much.
Good.
I'm not going to start flying off the handle here. I understand that. Also, you can't get proper vengeance by just flying off the handle.
And we
It
don't
needs
know
to-
if Marcos might get up. So that's part of the next steps, isn't it?
We shall see.
There's a knocking on the frame entrance of the kind of main sitting area, where Johnny has kind of re-entered and just wanted to let everyone know that he's back in the room. He looks over at Miles. I got some guys in the way. You good?
Yes, well,
Has Marcos...
no. And our hanger-on believes that he is passed.
Johnny kind of nods like he doesn't quite understand, but doesn't look like he's going to press you on that.
Do you think he knows? For sure?
It's hard to say. I don't know what.
Demons lie.
So what's on the agenda for tonight?
I'm gonna need to go hunting for real.
Can I make
Before-
some recommendations?
Sure.
Neil, you need to go back to your haven and make sure things are okay there. If Miles' haven was hit, I want to make sure that your haven was... You've got delicate things there. He gives you kind of a knowing look.
I do, and if I'm being totally honest, there's a package I gotta look for.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, I thought you meant all the other stuff I have there.
There's a lot of delicate things you have there.
And the demon showed me all my stuff getting wrecked. So.
Wynn, I think you should see if you can track down Raven, because a conversation needs to happen there.
Do you have the pages?
I do.
Should we make copies?
I'll leave that up to you. Do you want them?
I'll take them.
Johnny reaches inside his jacket and hands some nasty-looking pages over to Wynn. I'm more than happy to get those off my person.
I figured you would be.
Britta, I think feeding is a good idea. Miles, I think you should go with her. If the two of you can get some food and then maybe start making some inroads with other members of the court, not necessarily ad Elysium, but maybe you can get a hold of Nyx and see about having a conversation maybe at a nightclub where you can find some musicians for the big guy here.
There are some here. I'm not going anywhere tonight.
I think it might be good for you to do so.
No, it will not. While I am in control currently, I will not continue to be so.
How
All right.
about this then? If the musicians are willing, I could feed from them if they are okay with that, and that way you have someone with you. And we can go back to court soon.
I will operate either way, but I feel like court will be best tomorrow night. I cannot risk.
I'm just talking about having you go downtown and get out of your haven for a couple of hours.
Miles's phone rings.
What's the number?
Reese.
I think we're gonna need a self-control check.
Then you know what you need to do.
What is that? A 6 up, 1 stick away.
Yep.
That phone breaks.
Well, did you? If you?
Oh, I failed.
So you frenzy.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
The object of my frenzy then gets destroyed.
Miles's fangs bare, and he makes a completely inhuman sound, crushing the phone in his hand.
Johnny's just going to see if he can get people out of the room. Just let him spend his anger and just tear apart the place. Because these possessions all need to go, and actually getting that out might help him, rather than trying to restrain him in this moment.
The subject of his frenzy is not any of you, so you guys are actually able to kind of like back out as long as you don't do anything to draw attention to yourselves.
Britta is about to talk, so you know that Britta's habit is to try to talk people out of frenzy. I think you have enough experience to be able to preempt that, but you might want to describe if you think to preempt that.
I think what he's going to do is spend blood for celerity and just usher people out with celerity. So he will physically remove you from the room rather than have a conversation about, let's not, get in his way.
So you see Britta, like, habitually take that unnecessary human breath to center herself and to start to reach out to Miles. And before she can start to verbally reach out to Miles, Johnny hooks a hand around her arm and just gets her out.
The group of you can hear the sounds of Miles smashing mirrors, ripping apart paintings, and just completely savagely trashing the place. Johnny, it actually sounds like, pretty standard raw stress relief. But by the time Miles comes out of it, you can feel the exhaustion radiating from the other room where Miles is. And Miles, you kind of find yourself slumping down and dropping to your knees, completely tired.
Wynn makes her way back inside.
Britta, spotting Wynn, holds up a hand as in pause before the noise might occur to her.
I'm just going to check on him.
All right.
He's probably on his knees in the middle of the wreckage of the room, just kind of staring out the probably slightly damaged doors to the outside. And
Wynn just kind of approaches and admires the damage for a few minutes, and then just kneels beside him and just waits for him.
Johnny's phone rings.
You mean Johnny's beeper?
I thought Miles passed everyone's phones at Boston.
he refused it.
Everybody except Johnny.
Yeah.
So then,
Wynn-
Johnny's beeper goes off.
Johnny takes a look at it.
Sheriff office business.
He excuses himself from the area and heads up to where the Miles' office is.
Johnny, do you want to use my phone?
No, it's all right. Johnny will grab one of the landlines and call the sheriff's office.
Answering the other side is Jane.
How's it going, Jane?
Hey, so there's a little bit of a situation. Your friend Neil is being summoned to Elysium by order of the prince. He is like a step away from a blood hunt. So,
All right, Jane, you want to give me a little bit more information than that?
well, Neil had allegedly met final death when the Sabbat attacked. And now there are rumors going around that this new Neil practices some sort of crazy Assamite magic and is heavily involved in the Assamites. And there has been an accusation made that Neil is not Neil and that his sire is back.
Who's the accusation coming from?
The prince.
The prince made this accusation.
Well, the prince announced a blood hunt and then I asked him to walk it back.
Thank you, Jane. Are they expecting us tonight?
They are expecting you guys right now. Apparently someone didn't answer Reese, so he made the claim that there might be some sort of understanding between your coterie and Neil's sire.
Is it just the prince and Reese coming at us like this?
No, the whole court's freaking out. They don't want some rampant psycho Diablerist running around the domain. There's a crew headed to Neil's Haven right now to bust the place up and take him in.
All right, understood. Inform the court that they need to call those people back, and I'm bringing Neil in right now.
No offense, Johnny, but I've pretty much extended myself out to help your friend as much as I'm willing to do. I am not stepping into a political fight with Reese, my own prince, all of the Toreador, all of the Nosferatu. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I get it. Thank you.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
You've already done enough, Jane. Thank you. Johnny hangs up the phone. He comes striding back into the wreckage. We got a little situation, guys.
What's wrong?
The prince has nearly declared a blood hunt on you, Neil.
What?
Apparently word's gotten around of your occult leanings. And Rollins is acting real weird, which has me leaning to think that he's being played by somebody. Regardless, Jane managed to have them call that back a little bit and made the call out to me to bring you in. There is perhaps a crew heading for your haven right now. So what I think needs to happen is
We need to go to my haven.
you need to present yourself to the court immediately.
I need to go to my haven.
I will stop the people going to your haven.
Johnny, I need to go to my haven. All my things are there.
There is a boot crew that's ready to take you down. If they see you there, that might escalate into straight up violence. If you go to the court and you let me handle this and trust me to do that, I will turn them away from your haven.
Johnny, you don't understand. All my things are there. All of my...
Johnny reaches out and grabs you by the shirt, pulls you real close to within an inch of his face. You need to listen to me, Neil. I know what's happening here. You're going to the court by order of the sheriff's office. I am going to protect your domain. Got me? This is where you say, yes, Johnny, I got you.
But...
Don't try my patience.
I got you.
Wynn, will you escort him so he's safe at court?
Absolutely.
Miles, will you also keep an eye out on him? Because he is walking into a viper's nest right now. I need some of that Ventru magic that you can pull.
Miles is still very visibly angry. I'll go. It's
a big night.
No. It means Reese hasn't really left since we've been here.
Britta, I think you should also go with them. I'd love to have some backup at Neil's Haven, but I honestly think that these guys are going to need your help more than me with a bully crew.
Got it. Keep an eye out. Stay safe. If they're going to his haven, they're not going to be in a good mood.
I understand. Johnny goes off, grabs a bag. Get him to court now.
Neil, please.
And he heads out to a vehicle to go driving off to his haven.
Somebody's got to go with him. It's my whole life.
Neil, if you don't come with us, this could be your life. We need to give them as
What's
much...
more important to you?
I can't answer that question.
Neil, you're going to court.
Neil, if you want me to go with Johnny, I'll go with Johnny if you promise me you will get your ass to court. I know this sucks. I know this is hard. This may be the hardest moment of your life, Neil. You faced your own death once.
I'm not worried about me dying. Don't let them... All my things are there.
I know. I know what they mean to you, and I know what they are to you. Do you want me with Johnny or with you? Because I need a promise from you that you are going to show up.
You hear the rumble of a truck engine outside fire up.
Fine. I'll go. Okay, I'll go.
Okay. And Wynn turns and races up the stairs and out to the truck.
We gotta go as fast as possible, Neil. We need them in as good a mood as we can.
Neil just, puts his hands over his face and gives a little sob and seems basically incapable of doing anything on his own at this point.
Britta walks over to Neil. Are there blood tears?
Oh, yeah.
Britta grabs whatever spare bit of fabric. There might be, a hand towel from the bathroom. Comes over, takes Neil by the hand, presses the hand towel into his other hand, and leads him back out towards Miles and towards...
I'm going to go get dressed for battle.
Got it.
You should drink from the other two idiots that are still locked in the office over there.
I will.
And then we'll be on our way.
Right, Neil, you clean up. I'll go drink, all right?
One by one, Miles. Reese is going to take everything from you.
Path of Night is an actual play Vampire the Masquerade podcast set in the classic world of darkness. Britta Ashcroft the Toreador was played by Rebecca Steigelfest. Johnny Saxon the Bruja was played by Garrett Gabbey. Miles Davenport the Ventru was played by Tim Davis. Neil Foster the Malkavian was played by Rob Muirhead. Wynn Cabot the Gangrel was played by Erika Webb. Your storyteller was Lex Lopez. Recording by Rebecca Steigelfest. This episode was edited by Rob Muirhead. The music used in this episode was January Grunge Love Fest by Technoaxe. Visit them online at technoaxe.com. Path of Night uses the 20th anniversary edition rule set of Vampire the Masquerade with a few limited house rules. Vampire the Masquerade is owned by Paradox Interactive. Make sure to subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on Twitter at Path of Night Pod, on Facebook at facebook.com/Path of Night Podcast, or email us at pathofnightpodcast@gmail.com. See you next time, Kindred.
Johnny was saying, right? We just have to eat more people and then we can handle all this.
My girl!
No, don't start this again.
But Miles, it makes sense, doesn't it?
No!
She's past the accounting. Give her her certificate or whatever.
certificate?
Did you not do your accounting?
Do you not have your certificate?
I got it. It's like one of the few things I have in my haven. It's on the wall in like a little frame.
Johnny, this just says I can do what I want.
Yeah, it's a Brujah certificate of vampirism.
I mean, that is a Brujah certificate.
It's also in crayon.
Got it from Weathers.
Definitely in crayon.
Not if Weather signed it. It's definitely in ballpoint.
It's fucking Weathers being like, I know you weren't Maria, but I want to give you this. My sire gave it to me, and I want you to show it. It's literally just a piece of paper that says, I do what I want.
Thank you.
Doubles as your badge of office.